I'm Katie with KKD Designs, and I wanted to show you one of my projects that I'm working on right now. And some of you that have been following me know that I like to fix things up. I like to repair things. I like to make things a little bit better. Anyway, I've always been a fan of that old saying, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. Well, over the past couple of days, I had an epiphany and I decided that that last line needed to be edited. It should be, or make it better. And that's especially what I like to do. So today, what I wanted to work on was actually putting that saying on a pillow. And then later, I think I'm gonna put it on a sign, maybe on a shirt. Anyhow, I like it. So I'm gonna make it part of my household and we'll see how that goes. So I started with using Silhouette software for a vinyl cutter. And if the Silhouette folks would like to pay me for that advertisement, I'm happy to accept that. Anyhow, so this is what I came up with, and I've done one. I'm gonna make one for myself and one for my daughter, and it's gonna be on a dark background, so it's white. Anyway, when you initially cut anything out in Silhouette, for those of you who, a Silhouette cameo machine, and there's some other cutters out there, but this is the one I like. So I've actually cut my pattern, but it comes off the machine still blank, and so I have to go back on it and use a little tool to pull out all the excess material I don't need, and that's called weeding. I like to use these sharp little tweezers, and these are actually been ground down so they're kind of pokey, which is very helpful. Anyway, once I pull all the extra pieces out or weed it, it looks like that. Now it's printed in, it's cut in reverse so that when you use a heat source, whether it's an iron or whether you have a heat press like I do, it turns around and it presses onto the fabric, so it actually reads the way it should. So as you can see, it says use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without, with a slash in it, and then or make it better. Anyway, the pillows I want to make, I'm gonna make a gray one for myself and a green one for my daughter. Oh, there's the other piece. So we're gonna have a front and a back. That will be cute, like that, this way. Some of you that have seen some of the other projects, or I just fixed up a lampshade for my daughter, will recognize this fabric. I still have some scraps. We use it up, we wear it out, right? Anyway, and so then on the solid side is where I'm going to be pressing this so it stands out and looks really sharp when it's finished. And then the one I wanted to do for myself is gonna be gray. Again, you got a front and a back, and I'm gonna put the lettering on the gray side. I'm excited to see how it turns out. There we go. Anyway, so I've cut one and I've cut the other one, and I am going to go ahead and start weeding this one so it's ready. I won't make you sit through me weeding all of it, but I'll get back to you as soon as I've got it weeded and then have those pressed onto the solid fabrics of the pillow. That should be fun. Hi there, I'm back. Okay, I've got my fabric ready and I've got both of my final pieces weeded, as you can see. And the fabric I'm using is actually 16 by 16. Depending on the size that you want to do, you could do 18 or 20, but 16 serves my purposes for today, and I've got both of those. And yes, I'm standing in my closet. I keep my heat press here so it's out of the way, less likely for my kiddos to bump it, get burned. I'm sure you know how that is. Anyway, so we're gonna take our piece of fabric and decide exactly where we want the lettering positioned. So I'm gonna put it kind of to the bottom and left, and then I'm gonna press that, usually for about 15 to 20 seconds. One thing I've learned about white vinyl, it's a little thicker and a little more difficult to work with than other colors. I believe that they have to make it a little bit thicker because what happens when white is really thin, you can see through it. So in order to make it opaque, it's a little thicker, so I usually leave it on just a little bit longer. So I'm going to position that and press that in my press here. And you actually top it with a Teflon sheet, which is right over here. All right, there we go. And this is a Teflon sheet, so it helps things not stick when they're not supposed to stick. So I've got my vinyl positioned where I want it. go. And you put your Teflon sheet on top of it. Straighten that in your press. It's pretty tight there. I believe my timer's set for 15 seconds, but I might give it a couple of more. Anyhow, I mentioned I'm doing the green one for my daughter. I have 2 daughters, but the oldest one is the one whose room has the colors that match. So that was 15 seconds. I'm going to give it about 5 more seconds just to make sure. I'm going to set that aside and let it cool just a bit. We'll do the gray one. Again, position your vinyl where you want it. You can get technical and measure, or you can just eyeball it like I'm doing. Teflon sheet on top. And again, you could use just a standard household iron on an ironing board. You would just have to press firmly. You don't want to move while you're pressing. You just have to press firmly, move to another spot, press firmly, and keep going until you've covered the whole thing thoroughly, an equal amount of time and an equal amount of pressure. So you can see why if you do this regularly, you'd want to have a heat press like this. I'm going to go ahead and up my second so you don't have to listen to it beep quite so much. I'll put it up to 20 seconds. We'll let that. While that's doing it, let's see how our other one is doing. Oh, and that looks like that's peeling off really nicely. So you take the plastic off and it leaves that nice crisp lettering behind. And sometimes if the corner of letters start lifting a little bit, you can always just put the plastic right back down and either touch up that specific spot or do the whole thing again. Okay. And I'm going to let that one cool. And just for fun, I'm going to do one extra step I'll show you. I like to sign my work. So on the other side, which is actually going to be the pattern side, I'm going to decide which is the bottom left corner. And I like to sign it. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just a teeny, teeny, weeny little KK. Anyway, so I'm going to put that on there as my little signature that this is my theme. And obviously for something so tiny, you could easily use an iron for that, but since I already have the heat press heated up, just going to pop that little guy in there. Get that cooked on. See how this one's coming along. Nice, very nice. That looks good. Now on this one, I am getting a teeny weeny bit of lifting on the corner of some of the letters. So just to play it safe, I'm going to pop both the gray one and the green one back in just for a couple of seconds, just to kind of seal off any of those edges and corners. It didn't get as tight as I want. And that little KK just pops right off. I'll show you what that looks like. Cute little K on there. Put that down. Okay, again, this is the gray one, and I'm just going to touch it up. Again with the Teflon sheet. This one probably only needs about 10 seconds. Again, it's just to follow up, seal off any loose corners on that lettering. There's my 10 seconds. So I can go ahead and just pull that out. There we go. Do the same with my green one. Oh, I love how that white stands out. Isn't that fun? Okay, 10 seconds there. While that's doing it, I will decide which corner to put the little KK on the gray stuff. We'll put it right there where it shows up. That one's ready to go. Now, one thing that I thought I would do, which would be fun, I'm going to be putting these pillows or similar ones on them on my Etsy page. And I am a total newbie to YouTube, so I don't have a lot of subscribers yet. But if you subscribe and get a bunch of friends to subscribe, every 50th subscriber will get a choice of a free Make It Better item, whether it's a pillow or whether it's a frame, a sign, which I'll be making, or I think I'm going to put on a shirt and a hat for fun. So every 50th subscriber, message me, let me know who you are, I'll look you up. If you're the 50th subscriber, I will be sure you get a free item. And if you referred somebody who happened to be the 50th person, if they can confirm you're the one who sent them, I'll give you both a fun surprise. So there we go, lift off the plastic on that one. And there's the cute little KK on that, and you see that? Fun. All right, let me turn off my press. And now we get to move over to the sewing machine, okay? Here we are at the sewing machines, and we're gonna put our pillows together. Now, since the seams that we're sewing are actually gonna be on the interior of the pillow, there's not a lot of stress on those seams, so you don't really have to make a big fuss about reinforcing them. You could just use a standard machine just to make your lines, or I'm probably gonna use a serger just to finish the edges off, less threads, that kind of thing. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get started. I'll do the gray one first. So there you are with your cute saying. And we're gonna put the right sides together, making sure that I've got both pillows, both sides of the pillow in the upright position. Now, of course, we wanna leave an opening to put either your loose filling in, or if you have a pillow form, which I do, you can get those inexpensively at Walmart. This is a 16-inch, and yeah, Walmart, if you'd like to pay me for that ad, I'll take that as well. Anyhow, so I have a 16-inch fill, but you can easily, which in my closet, I've got a bunch of loose fill that you could use as well. Anyway, so just fill it up with loose fill. Sometimes I even have extra quilt batting that I shred and use that as a fill. So whatever you need to fill up your pillow. Anyway, so as we're stitching, as we're sewing, we need to make sure and leave an opening. I like to leave that in the bottom so that whether you decide to finish it with a machine or decide to finish it by hand, that final finished seam is at the bottom and less likely to be seen. Anyway, so I'm gonna leave an opening about yay big. I think the pillow will squish into that. So I'll start there and buzz around here. Now if you need pins as guidelines, go for it. If not, just go to town. I can't remember what I did before I had a serger. That's not absolutely true. My mom actually taught me to sew on an old antique treadle machine. She had refinished the case of it and it worked just as good as it ever did, and that's what I learned to sew on. I actually got my first serger in college. There was a local merchant who wanted to produce a doll for some reason anyhow, and they went to the local college and asked some of the, was taking some sewing classes, and asked mostly girls, there was only girls in the class, to design a doll for a competition. Anyway, I designed the winning doll and the prize was a serger, and I've been using one faithfully ever since. I love them. Anyway, I'm gonna sew the green one as well, but you don't need to watch me do that. But let's go ahead and turn this gray one, and then you'll know what I'm doing, and then the pattern will be the same for the green one as well. So you're just gonna wanna turn your corners. Sometimes I just put my hands inside there and grab both corners. Give it a good shake. And then if you want, you can either from the outside use a little pin to pull out those corners sharply, or I actually have a bodkin, which if you don't know what that is, it looks like kind of like a blunt needle. You can use it to pull things through like elastic, but it also has that nice little knob, which I will push in, poke my corners out a little sharper there. Now once I put the pillow form in, you can either pinch the edges of the opening together, little lips, and run it through the machine. You will see those stitching. I don't really like to do that, so I'm going to do it by hand, which obviously takes a little bit more time, but I just like how the finish looks better. Anyway, this gives you an idea of what we're going to look like though. Isn't that cute? There's the whole thing. Anyway, so let's see if we can get the pillow form in there, and then I will sew it up. All right. Squish, squish, squish. Now, if this is a decorative pillow, so I doubt I will have a lot of need to wash it. Probably just spot clean it. If this were a pillow that I would be putting where my kiddos would be using a lot, I would probably actually put a zipper in the bottom. That way you can take the cover off and run it through the wash if you need to. Hopefully this will be in my room and be less likely to get messy. So I will just sew it up. Anyway, there we go. So like I said, I'm gonna hand finish the bottom, but that is looking super cute. I like it. I like it a lot. Anyway, I will go ahead and start pinning this up and use a needle and thread. And just what I do, I'll show you a little bit if you'd like. Just bend those little edges in just the same distance as the seam that you had sewed. Grab that, and then just to benefit you, make it a little bit easier, pop a pin in. And I'm going to do that all the way along. And I'm being a little quick so that I'm not wasting your time, but obviously you want to be careful. So you can see those neat little edges, neat little lips. What I'm going to do with my needle and thread is just run the needle in and out of both sides, back and forth, catching that little edge, and then the stitches are nice and hidden and you won't see that at all. Anyway, so I'm going to get busy with sewing the green one and then also hand stitching the bottom of both of them, and then when I'm done I'll take some fun pictures and show those to you. But before I leave you, I just wanted to remind you to go ahead and thumbs up the video, subscribe to my channel, and then like I said, every 50th subscriber, I will make sure they get a free Make It Better product. That's what I'll call them, my Make It Better products of their choice. And as I said again, if a friend happens to be the 50th person and you referred them, then I'll make sure you get one too. Anyway, I'm glad you could join me today, and I think this has been a fun project. I'll also probably be making a sign, and I'll put that on another video so you can see how that turns out. Anywho, thanks so much and have a great day.